Wagwan, Mr. Maps.
What up, what up, what up? What it do, what it is?
What it is, what it does, big man. You alive and kicking.
I'm alive, fam. Can't complain. Life is good. So yeah, no. Everything is rosy on this side of the world.
No, we give thanks for life. It's another week to do the things, bro.
Exactly. We were kind of sort of off last week, but we did drop something for the people, a little something. The reception was pretty positive. Try they want more, but anyway, we'll talk about that. Another day. Let's just start with an introduction. Anyway, guys, welcome back. It's another episode of 6 Foot Weights, your favorite hour with your favorite cheese boys. My name is Tabo.
My name is Senna.
And we're back again to do the damn thing for another week. If we move straight into housekeeping, again, the usual...
Point of order.
What?
Madam Speaker. Point of order.
What's your point of order?
Point of order.
What's your
you think you can just skim past these things? Why didn't we record last week, Tabo?
Well, since you're so curious,
the people them happy know.
Well, point number one, it was my wife's birthday week, not just day, but week. So I had to dedicate time to make sure that she had the birthday of a lifetime. So, I wasn't available.
Guys, whenever Tabo says I have money, never believe him. Because Tabo has money.
No, he said whenever
Tabo's
Tabo
got
says
money.
I have money. Yeah, Tabo, you don't believe
Whenever Tabo says Senna has money, don't believe him. Because that's some fake news.
Oh my God. So what, you're trying to figure me in the spotlight?
Bro, Mtogo said your Instagram post called him broke in 5 different languages.
No.
He had to go back to work.
No.
Therefore,
Mtogo is being extra.
Because I hadn't seen your IG post, right? So I entered Twitter. And then I see Mtogo's post and he's like, bro, that Mr. Maps on a random Friday. He just decided to rent a yacht. I'm like, how?
Stop it.
Tabo can rent a yacht without telling me.
Firstly,
so I go because I can't believe it. Couldn't believe it. So I need to see this with my own eyes. So I log off Twitter, close the, you swipe up, you close the tab.
Yeah.
Open Instagram. Open stories. Tabo, Lakers jersey. I don't even know how much a Lakers jersey costs. All I know is I can't afford it. Lakers jersey.
Yes, you can.
On a yacht somewhere in Dubai, shaking his ass. I'm like, hi, guys.
Guys, it's not like that. It's not like that. First of all, it was her birthday. Let's start there. So anything and everything that may or may not have been done, it was my wife's birthday, and I had to show up. I had to make sure she had a good time.
We're just you're not refuting that stance.
Liyahlupa, please, guys.
Uyaluvuma yini icala, Mr. Maposa?
No, I vele angivumi. You guys are trying to make me look like some sort of mbinga, but I'm not.
We'll bring you to the court of Senna in session.
Yes. Not guilty, Your Honor.
No, guilty of being a rich motherfucker. 100%.
No. Trust me, guys. Me, when I get to that point where I'm rich, I won't hide it. I promise.
You're not hiding it.
No, I won't.
We know. You're not hiding it. We saw it on your Instagram.
Nah. That's nothing, bro. Trust me. When we get to the levels, then Owagatesi, guys. Real G's move in silence. Investor needy, mutual funds, crypto, stocks. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Tabo tells us to save money, then goes and hires a guys. Let me tell you. Like those posts on Twitter where people say rich people will be telling you, hey, work hard. Kwasha kwaqima. Poor people don't know how to save. Nangumuntu. I'm only live this weekend, but anyways, it's fine. I hope the birthday was good. Shit.
No, it was great.
Birthday to the missus. We hope it was great. I just wanted to bring that point of order.
Hi. Guys, I'm not worth lawyering, okay? There's literally there's no money in my bank account. It's trust me, I'm not the one. You will waste somebody's kidney on me. I promise you that.
Wait, you ever hear those stories of people who like migrate to like other countries?
Yes.
I swear, I didn't know people do this. But apparently, when you're leaving Zim, people don't tell other kids that they're leaving.
Yeah.
Like they keep it to themselves because apparently, if you tell abantu bazakuloya, because they'll see that you're doing well, and you're about to leave Zimbabwe, and you're about to go do well for yourself, and then
Yeah.
Like for real, what are they?
Don't you remember in high school? There's hella earns that just didn't come. Second term, on is gone.
Yeah, that's what you did also. Me, I
told you niggas from time though. I told you niggas that I'm not gonna be
I
there.
knew.
I was very open about it.
And then some teachers had to know because they had to fill in some things.
Yeah.
But besides that, when you weren't going to tell anyone.
No,
tell
but also,
when a second term say
firstly, I wasn't a popular guy. That's number one. Two, like nobody cared. So it was like I can announce like, okay, guys, I'm not gonna be here. And then people will be like, okay, you know. But I think generally, anyone that knew me or that was friends with me, they knew, okay, this guy's not gonna be there. And then people that didn't really fuck with me like that, then they're the ones who probably ask questions like, you know, third term, like,
yes, now we're left with Tabo's big departure. Where's Tabo? Tabo's
exactly.
But exactly what you said actually about there's hella owns between 2008 when we went to Form 2 and
that was
probably around
exodus.
O level. Or you just work in second term into Gaseko, you're just now seeing Facebook updates from Australia and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. A lot of people's mothers were in the UK, US, gone.
Wait, do you think it was parents who swore them to secrecy?
Oh yeah, probably.
So next time
yeah, probably.
Otherwise,
like I mean, my parents. I don't remember being sworn to secrecy, but I know a lot of the stuff. I remember. It's like so. Like me and my younger brother, we were just open about shit that's at home, right?
Yeah.
So again, out of context, it will look like we're flexing. But again, it's just shit will come up somehow, and then we'll say what it is. And my mom particularly didn't like it, so she was like, don't tell people how many cars are at home. Hey, what, like all this other random shit. And I'm just like, bro, like it's to me, I'm just like, hey, if someone, because people would genuinely come. And now that I think about it, it's kind of creepy. People would ask me very specific questions about my family's kind of financial status. Or certain things, assets and shit like that. I'm just like, but back then, I was kind of naive in terms of like, oh, okay, I guess if you want to know, all right, cool. But like, my parents were really, even going to essay on like a vacation, bruh. And I'm just like, huh? It's just essay. We've been to essay a ton of times, bro. Like, it can't be that deep. But really, it was mom's the word. That was what it was with my mom all the time. She'd come and be like, right, this is happening, but I'm was like HH, so to hey, and I'm just like, hey.
I remember something like, I think it was during those them times when you couldn't get simple things from the shelves like Coke.
Yeah.
I think I once showed up with a Coke. I don't know where we gotten from, probably from SA or something like that,
like a Coke can.
Coke can, yes. Now so made it cut up. No, it Coke with hanger. Like that Zimbabwe was bad. Like when we say Zim was bad, like Zim was bad.
There was firewood on the shelves, bro. I'll never forget that. I walked into TM and where you're supposed to have cooking oil, spices, chips, whatever. There was one set of firewood.
But there was this. Yeah, that 08, there was a particular month where there was nothing, bruh. Like you couldn't even get a Coca-Cola. You walk in now, you get it, and you buy it, and you go home and you drink. So I came with one to school, and one of our mutual friends then asked me, you cook with tenga, like where'd you buy it? Like for real, I'm curious because
You're standing here.
Yeah. Said person, somehow the news filtered to my mom, and then I had to receive a lecture about Uti Pambankulum. And I'm like, hi. I was asked, and I answered. Okay, so next time, it was too late.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, again, I get it now in a way which not everyone.
In retrospect,
yeah, not everyone wants the best for you. I feel like my parents, again, our parents are Christians, right? But then, even though our parents are Christian, I still think they have that kind of like, okay, we don't really believe in lawyer, but just in case,
that little window of opportunity.
Yeah, let's you know that meme, that post that you put up, hey, ungas provoke, right?
Ungas provoke.
So I skip like my parents on that. We don't want to provoke people into thinking, So, because at the end of the day, if you're Christian, technically, it doesn't, and it's a weird thing, right? When you're like Ndebele, right? Or I mean, if you're just African in general, that balance between culture and religion, you know, it's weird. Like it's like where exactly?
It's a strange thing.
Yeah, where do we draw the line? Where are we going? Okay, no, because we're Christians, this, and then no, because we are, Ndebeles or Shonas or whatever's this, right? Yeah. So it's weird, right?
Yeah, I guess you find a balance. It's a chat we should have actually with some people someday, like experts in these things, just to come and like break it down for us. How do they reconcile the two? I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that window of Ubuloi is the reason why people don't like telling. People don't like to say when they're doing good stuff, when they're traveling, or when they're planning a big bash for their wives.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
Just in case Tabo provokes us.
This man said planning a bash for the wife.
But guys, it's coming clean. So Tabo's provoked us this year. No, why Singagamlo me? I also don't know. You know what? If you buy an A class, I'm telling you now, you upgrade or get a new car or something. I was provoking. I'm telling you, even like I don't know how to lawyer, but I'll be with you.
I'm going off socials. I'm going off of socials. You guys will see me. I'm gonna have like burner accounts where it's there's nothing annoys me more than people who are on Instagram and they'll have like 0 posts. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
But then so ulanduzo, like if you're that person that literally has a proper, this is you, this is me and my Instagram account, and you have 0 posts, that's creepy, dog. I think
that's a creep. Well, I've actually creepy. Heard some people say they prefer to have the social media apps to just see other people's opinions and pictures, not necessarily to post their own. Just to be entertained, yeah, but like, not to entertain.
No. It's a fair trade. It's barter trade, dog. If you go see my life, if I'm gonna open that little bit of a window into what I do, then you reciprocate. Let's see what
people aren't out there like you, Tam.
No, but I mean, again,
like in terms of personality,
I don't post amazing shit. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I'm on the top of the Burj Khalifa or whatever. Like I'll post music, I'll post jokes, it's whatever. It's chilled. You know what I mean? Like, and then the occasional, or if I'm at a brunch or whatever, sharp, right? I'm not saying, show us when you're at a brunch, but I'm just saying, like, Lawi, the whole point of Instagram is, you post your highlights. Nobody's saying show us, don't tell us what I again, if you're that, I don't like when people do the whole, if you're depressed or whatever, right? Then you post those like attention-seeking items. I'm not those. That's another problem with social media.
Tabo basically said, take your depression and keep it to yourself.
No. Let me clarify what I'm saying. What I don't like are the people who hint at it, right? and then just leave it there. Like, clearly you want to tell us the whole story. You're trying to tell me, you know what I mean? Like, I detest it. Don't do that. Don't hint at shit. If you're depressed and you want to tell us that you're depressed, put it out there. Hey, guys, I ain't depressed shit. Then we'll say, oh no, you know what I mean? Like, then, you know, people can help or, you know, try to be there for you or whatever, right? So it's okay to be depressed. But
okay, so like, let's say I post.
Do no
let's say I
attention
post
seeking
this.
shit.
Okay, wait. So I think you need to clarify what an attention-seeking post is for those
Okay.
who don't understand.
Okay.
So let's say I'm chilling and then I post, "Can't believe what just happened today."
Yeah, that's attention seeking. I'm like, chief.
Okay.
Give us the context, because now you're essentially you're luring us into your DMs, isn't it? Because it's like, how far? So if you're my boy, then I'll be like, hey, how much? Because clearly you've put the trailer out there. You've put the hook. The bait is there. You want someone to come and ask you what happened. You know what I mean? Like it's. I mean, sometimes. I mean, again, I might be guilty of this of just kind of tweeting, because I feel like Twitter is different, because Twitter is not necessarily. I don't necessarily tweet for my audience. I tweet for me, right? Where it's just kind of like I'm literally putting shit out there, right? You choose to reply, you choose to reply. But I feel like there's certain things, especially with my WhatsApp status.
Yeah.
I don't think WhatsApp statuses are the place for you to now put the whole, you know, like.
Yeah.
I remember this hand posted some years ago. She's like, "Oh my God, it hurts," and I'm just there like, God.
What hurts?
Good teaser, and good teaser, bro. Like, finish off the story. Like, give the rest of the context. You know?
But you know, I tripped and fell, so it hurt.
Like, bro, give me the tea. She'd tell me how that nigga showed you flames, right? Because at that point, it's like, because I am a curious person. So this particularly affects me, because I genuinely am a curious guy.
This is a rant.
So that's literally my problem with it, guys. Like, don't trigger people's curiosity if you have no intention of sharing the rest of the story. We shouldn't have to come to you, dear. You know, the same way people complain about iPhone X for sale, DM for prices. You know what I mean? Like, y'all are in the same WhatsApp group with those people. Same WhatsApp group, exactly. Yeah, like, no. Why must I DM you for prices?
Let's provoke.
Anyway, so if for those who I subbed, please catch your sub, reform, repent, renew. You know, that's the slogan for today.
Change.
Right. I think I'm okay now. We can move forward. I think we're gonna skip housekeeping because we're too far gone. You led me down a path. But anyway, Mr. Moy, swinile over the weekend. It was a big victory.
Big victory.
Big victory, Mr. Moy. Big victory.
For
ask
who?
Ask me why.
Why? Can you see you're doing that thing? You're luring me and provoker.
No, but this is intentional. Like, I mean, I'm about to give you the context. Yeah, well, if I just said big victory, full stop. Anyway, next thing. Yeah, well, then it's like, whoa, chief. It's not China, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So like, yeah. Anyway, so it was a big victory for our city, our little city of Bulawayo in the country. No, it's actually technically, apparently, according to Twitter, Bulawayo is not a part of Zimbabwe. So let me leave that for a second. Yes. But yeah, in Mtwagazi was very victorious. You know, we don't get too many W's, but when we get them, boy, you know what I mean. Like it's a big deal. So I'm over the moon. And for those who need a little bit more context, there's some big DJs. Well, they were producers, but now they're known for amapiano, essentially. So major league DJs, two twins. Is it Vanille and what? Zanele? I don't know. But whatever.
Vanille and Vandile.
Vanille and Vandile. So these twins are DJs, big, all over the world, pop-in, global tour. So Zim was their next stop. So they were meant to do, again, we were actually going to talk about this last week had we recorded. So we didn't talk about it. The fact that they were meant to perform in Harare and then also in Bulawayo. And they were charging for VIP. So let's even start there before we even continue to Bulawayo's victory. They were charging 5K for VIP, 5,000 Joe Bidens USD for VIP in Zim. Do you still have the poster, Senna?
No, I don't.
So
but
I know it's in the +1 group. It's in the +1 group. But
let me get it quick.
Where is this thing? Yes, I found it. So the platinum package, the gold package was $2,000. 5 tickets, 3 Vev Clicot, 2 Moe, 2 Hennessy's, and 4 Red Bulls. The Red Bull part just killed
4 Red Bulls.
And then the platinum package, that was one for 5,000 USD. 10 tickets, 5 Vevs, 3 Moes, and 3 Hennessy's, and 8 Red Bulls. So those are the packages. Obviously, us poor people were like, oh, bruh, Ewan's mom.
So like a gent.
Because, I think it is disrespectful in Zim to charge.
Like, what?
I think general tickets were like $20, which, again, by Zim standards, is a lot. I don't know if it was $5 or $20. Maybe I'm confusing things. But if it was $5, I'm like, all right, cool. That's fair, right?
5 makes sense.
5 makes sense.
But, if to enter... I remember the one Christmas I was there at Smokehouse. I think to get in a New Year's Eve was $10.
That's not bad. Bad.
So I think 20 makes sense for Major League.
Bruh, but how many? Like, because that item was full, bruh. So those give me $20.
Bruh, why wouldn't they? My $20 pum.
It's a span. But anyway, all right, fine. Between 5 to 20, okay, fine. But yeah, how did you feel about the packages, the platinum and gold packages?
I remember, I'm not sure who sent it first in the group, and I was like, miss me. It can't be. It doesn't make any financial sense. Maybe for some people it does.
One second. So $20 was for standard, and then VIP was $50.
VIP $50, and then there were those packages. I'm 5,000.
Yeah.
USD. For 5,000 USD for 5 people.
For 10 tickets.
Included those.
The 5K gave you 10 tickets, and then like the 3 bottles of Moet champagne, 3 Hennessy, and 8 Red Bulls.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. And then what? We spend it, and then we go home.
Yeah.
But I guess there was
before curfew.
Guys, who makes this money? Like, who does it go to? Because I assume the promoters.
Yeah.
The promoters pay Major League to come, right?
Yes.
And then they have a fee that they will set. Mm-hmm. And then I assume Major League will get a percentage of the gate takings.
I don't know.
And the promoters will then take the rest. I think that's probably how it would work.
I know the basic is that they get their fee, so they'll be like, all right, to book us it's X amount of $1,000, and then you take care of the flights, transport, accommodation, all that shit. That's on the promoters to take care of. So I don't know if they still get a percentage of like tickets as well.
They should get a percentage of the gate takings from the gigs.
Okay.
And all that. So it works in that sense, and the promoters will then over-sticker the drinks and other shit to recover the expenditure. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, maybe promoters are trying to make a shitload more from this event than anything. In any event, I was just like, no, guys, how do you justify spending that kind of money in a country like Zim, where we're crying out for freaking roads to be repaired, and those same people who are tasked with doing that will be the ones spending imali yakhona at these gigs.
People were saying
it's laughable.
It was the reason why it was priced that way was certain people, again I don't know who these people are, were laundering money, so they needed that to be the price point so that they can launder X amount of money through the 2 shows.
I could believe that. A lot of money is laundered through clubs anyways.
Yeah, on some power shit, bro. which is, I mean, again, because it really doesn't make sense for me, even for the gold package, right, or the platinum package, which was the 5K one. If you add that up in terms of on the street, that's probably about $1,000 worth of booze, roughly, right? It's about $1,000 worth of booze, and you're going to make a 4K profit off of that shit. Like, I mean, like even like what if you go to Cubana, you can get a bottle of Henny for in tops. You get a bottle of Henny for like 500, right? 500 rand, 400 to 600 rand, somewhere there, right? Or tops. And then at Lokuzen in the club, if you go to Cubana, bottle of Henny is about 1,800. So 1.8, 500, okay. You know what I mean? That markup makes sense. And then obviously if you go to much fancier clubs, maybe that same bottle of Henny will now be like 2,500 rand. But again, it's because it's posh, it's huge, it's whatever, right? Like that's you're selling a lifestyle at that club. Your smokehouse, and then wherever they did it, they wanted to do it in Harare. Those are not the type of, you know what I mean? Because if you're inviting the everyman, saying right, $20 sharp, okay, cool. So there's a certain pocket that's pulling up, and then if you're gonna say right for this package, again, no one was forced obviously to pay the 5K, but I'm just like, why would I go to a concert essentially like that to spend 5K? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really align at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to me those maths didn't balance at all.
Can't work. And
Absolutely not.
My whole thing was just the ordinary guy could never ever afford that. The ordinary Zimbabwean on the street could never afford that money.
Bro, how many salaries
to pay
is 5K?
for all that stuff? I have no idea, but it's a lot.
It's just bad. It's a lot. It's unnecessary. But anyway, that was going to be, for last week, the amount of...
It was US dollars, by the way, people.
Yeah, USD.
United States dollar.
No. Zim, one thing about Zim does not respect the dollar at all. Zim does not respect US dollars at all, bro. Like, it's mad. As landlord. But anyway, so this was actually what happened, right? For Mr. Senna, who was MIA over the weekend. This is the rundown, generally, of what happened. So... Major League land in Harare, right? They have a gig, so maybe let's say they landed in Harare on Friday. For the sake of the time, let's say they landed Thursday night, right? Thursday night in H. Apparently, they had a private party that they did for certain people. Obviously, the real Mbingas in Harare had a private party with them that they played for, and that went, I guess swimmingly because there was no news about that. Fast forward to Saturday. They were then meant to play in the public one where everybody was pulling up, right? So I can't remember the name of the place, but it's somewhere in Harare, right?
Some estate thing.
Yeah, some estate. So estate X. So that's where the venue was. That's where everybody was pulling up, and apparently Major League was supposed to come on stage at 10 p.m. Right? Yeah. So, again, I didn't know this, but in Zim, the curfew is 10 p.m. But again, nothing's ever really enforced in Zim. So, anyway, so that was the news. The news was Major League was supposed to show up, 10 p.m. So they pulled up around like 9-ish or something, 9:30. But by then, right, so they had the organizers in Harare obviously had like an opening act, so a bunch of local talent from Zim. What killed me is that people were saying that there was not a single Amapiano song played
in the opening act.
None of them. Opening acts.
No, it's probably it's H-Town. H-Town
exactly.
is big on dancehall.
Yeah, so it was like hip hop artists, this and that. This is what people were saying on Twitter. This made me laugh. I was literally dying. Which I'm like, yo, how can you have your headliners be Amapiano DJs? But then because I feel like if I lived in H, I would definitely buy a ticket because I'm thinking the music I like
something
is
different.
Played,
Yeah,
that's my mentality. Which is we are Beanie Man, right? I am going to buy the ticket. Like, okay, cool. Beanie Man is the headline, but I'm not expecting to pull up there and then someone's going to come and play Amapiano for an hour. You know what I mean?
Before Beanie Man comes on stage.
Yeah. I'm expecting, okay, Job Praise is going to pull up Winky D. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, cool. We get the theme of what we're going for now. then it's like going to a Kevin Hart concert and then Adele comes out to open for him. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's like whoa.
There's a certain theme which the event must maintain.
Exactly. If Kevin Hart's the headliner, then I'm expecting to see a bunch of younger or up and coming comics, right, to open for Kevin Hart. So anyway, that's a side story. So Major League pull up, and then obviously ZRP also pull up and be like, right, gentlemen.
The funny thing is, right, everyone could imagine how that interaction went.
Oh yeah,
it's probably.
No. My god. ZRP when they know they're about to fuck up your shit. Like everyone has had an experience with it. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, ZRP is the police, right? Police in
Zimbabwe Republic.
They
police.
are the worst. Like whenever if they caught you, I got caught one going through an Amber robot. The guy was so happy. Like, you know, you've just made his day. So I can imagine if I was constable, you know, Constable Chisamba, you know, pulling up there with my big belly and my ngwane there, knowing that I'm about to fuck shit up, knowing how much hype has come around this whole thing,
from
and I'm the guy who gets to turn off the lights. Personally, I would love to have been the cop on that day.
The funny thing is, ZRP is part of, or is what government uses, and I think I said this sometime last year, that the Zimbabwean government is very committed to making the lives of its citizens miserable. Oh yeah. Like they go above and beyond to ensure that you do not enjoy your life in that country.
Service delivery at its best.
Like they go. So ZRP is the arm with which they violently enforce this.
Yeah.
If you're gonna hand it to them on a plate like this.
Exactly. Exactly.
Bro.
It was a whole thing. So obviously, basically,
they will thrive in that space.
Long story short, ZRP comes in, says, "Hey, you're not aware that the curfew, the curfew in Zimbabwe is 10 p.m." Bro, like, so anyway, that's essentially what happened. So the constables came. They said, please switch off. You know.
How do you say Klicha in Shona? Zimai.
Is it Zimai?
I don't know how you say Klicha.
Yeah,
but I'm
Zima
sure
the
that's
Adam.
Zima
the Adam, bro. That's pretty much what happened. And again, I'm sure they did it with smiles on their face, the biggest smiles ever.
Right.
Because I know, like, I would live for a moment. Like, if I was a cop, absolutely, I'd love it. I'd milk every second of it. You know,
I'm sure.
I'd even be a dickhead. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you could be cool and be like, "Alright, listen." Because again, I'm based on what the timeline looked like. The fracas sort of happened before 10, so before curfew, but maybe after 9, somewhere there, right?
Yeah.
So you can give people some time, but the niggas was like, nah. The Adam now, niggas go home. Kule COVID, okay? Like it was it was a movie. So anyway, people are pissed, right?
Of course.
And Major League tweets out, "Hey guys, sorry, we don't even know what's going on. The cops are here. They're trying to shut us down. La 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 la." So that's essentially the scandal that's going on. And then that's it. Major League never performed in Harare. Yeah, but they got paid for it. So that's what happened on Saturday night. Yes. Questions?
No. So my question is. Someone, if you're a promoter, some company that's organized, someone loses their job over this, surely. I mean,
you would think.
I cannot for the life of me see myself organizing an event here in Cape Town and then say it's going to start at 10 p.m. Curfew's at midnight. Like, it can't make sense. It cannot be a thing. You do the research. You know what level applies at what time, bro. Everyone, we know what time we need to get to Groove so that we can go home and do everything. Surely if you're organizing an event where people are paying money, that stuff is thought of beforehand. You kind of know what the regulations are.
So Twa allegedly at the Friday party, right, the private one, they were jamming until like 2 a.m. Yeah. So what other people are thinking, right? Because there was a space opened about it the next day, which was hilarious. So Tando opened the space. I think it was a gas. So some guy jumped on there and he brought up a very good point, which was, again, you can't do an event like this in Zim and not have the police on your side, right? Or knowing that
you need a police clearance anyways.
Exactly. Said thing is happening. So the cops knew, right? They had to have known this was going on. So what this guy's theory was, someone didn't get greased. And because his wallet was not as heavy as it should have been, he was like, all right then, cool. So I think they sorted out properly things for the private party, right?
Yeah.
So there was no issues there. But then for the Saturday one, maybe they said, no, I'm Dada, hold this item. And then Dada's like, this is kind of light. They're like, no, I'm Dada, don't worry. And then Dada said, no, I want to worry. And then he's like, he sent his goons. He's like, go turn off that thing. Because again, they're in the right. Technically, the police were in the right. That's the law. So they turned it off. So again, I tend to also agree with that. It makes a lot of sense because they knew it was happening. So clearly, someone's pockets were not lined the way they were meant to be lined. And he was like, sharp. Hamba ju. Did the Juba not get good?
Or maybe they greased someone on Friday and then Saturday I've greased Maposa.
Yeah.
And then Sunday or Saturday, Constable Shloman is the one who's handling the Harare issue.
And then Constable Shloman is also like, hey, bro, I need the same sheets.
I also need the same sheets. And then I'm like, hi, but Kulumile Lomaposa, it's sorted.
Exactly.
What you Kuluma Lomaposa? Angungeni mina. You spoke, the two of you. It's fine. But
me and my Maposa.
Inini, I need. Inini, I also need my pockets to be clean.
No. Honestly, I can definitely see it as that. That would be the most Zim shit ever at the end of the day. But yeah, going on with the story. So yeah, the major league guys apologized. Show shuts down. They don't perform. And again, if I was there and I'm a piano lover, I'd be livid. So really, it was a lot of emotions there in Harare. And fast forward the next day, they tweet again. Good to know. Bulawayo, see you tonight. Smokehouse. We're going to be playing at 7 p.m. So really, everything now was like, nah. They did things accordingly now. So I don't know what time they played up to in Skies, but I know they started, generally speaking, they started on time within the curfew. So obviously, things went swimmingly in Skies. It looked like a vibe. I saw some of my friends' stories there when they were there, and it looked like it was a really, really good time.
Yeah.
That was the victory Bulawayo had. Typically, it would have gone the opposite way. Bulawayo would have been screwed over, and Harare would have had it. But shout out to Harare for financing a good time for Bulawayo. I will speak for my city. We appreciate it. We love y'all. Like Sasa Lingatino.
Wait. So I saw the follow-up tweet from Major League saying that they're gonna come back in December 22.
Yeah, so they promised Harare that they're gonna come back December 2022 for a free show.
Chitani Lamans. Forget about it, dude. I can tell you now. No, Chitani Lamans. Forget about that thing. It's not coming.
No, it's not.
And my reasoning is purely only because I think December's peak, they can literally be booked anywhere in the world, anywhere on the continent,
for a bigger bag,
dude, for a much bigger bag. Exactly. Like it's gig season, like literally. They can,
December 2022. I mean, 2022. December 22. There's no way, bro.
Yeah,
like I'd be shocked. There's no way. Because again, now this weekend they're flying to Los Angeles. Bro. So like,
nah.
You skip us are gonna be like, no, Harare, hey, this come on. That was just damage control. If you live in age, I'm sorry, bro.
To be honest, it'll be much cheaper for whoever it is to refund people their tickets and forget about the whole thing. I think for them,
refund. Will I refund apana?
Nah, bruh. People have to get their
No,
money back.
someone said, Auntie, there was a few years ago, WizKid was meant to come. WizKid or Burna Boy, one of the two, maybe both, was meant to come to Zim. Shit never happened. And to Akona, to this day, the people who still have tickets. They said, there's going to be a makeup concert. Same way like this. And to this day, to some still have them in their wardrobes.
Still waiting for
Hoping for WizKid or Burna Boy to come back. So again, this type of fleecing has happened. Zim has a history with this.
Oh
type
no,
of
no,
thing. It's sad that the everyman, someone who may have saved up that $20, who could have done something better with that $20.
Yeah,
it's sad for them.
Remember,
right?
who was it also who did the same thing? Was it Babes Wodumo? That year when she was big, and she was meant to perform, I think in Vic Falls or somewhere, or was it in Blues? Huh?
I thought she came.
No, I think there was a time when something about the plane about to leave, and then it just didn't happen.
Yeah, no.
I'm not sure if it was her. It might have been someone else, but there's one of the other people who I know was meant to pull through, and then just before they were talking about, hey, I missed our flight, Gwatini, and that was it. Those New Year's days.
Someone tweeted out, Uti. They were like, Major League, is it because Harare people can't dance?
That was funny.
I was like, no, people had jokes for days. Like the jokes were so funny.
No, to be honest, a lot of people went to town with it. And now here's my thing. It's going to happen to us and it'll be painful the day it does.
No. So what happened? Technically, H got the last laugh. So this is the other thing that happened as well. So when they were leaving or left or whatever, right? So the next day after the concert, they're like, Smokehouse, shit was dope, la 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 la, sharp, okay. Then they tweet out from their Twitter, but essentially they tweeted in Shona, Twakona Maitabasa, Zimbabwe, Tafara, Zikuru, right? And then so essentially thank Maitabasa.
Oh, they bongat in Shona.
Yeah, they bongat in Shona to Zimbabwe. And then someone quoted the tweet and said, but you didn't perform in Zim. You performed this, guys. I mean, a lot of people were annoyed, right? Because so my only issue was one of those kind of, it's not their fault that they don't understand or don't know the dynamic. So again, no issues with Major League tweeting that. But as their manager or whoever, it's like, it's your responsibility, because at the end of the day, it came from their account. So people will be annoyed initially with them, right? So you can't be, so if we had someone manage our Twitter and they're wilding on Twitter, at the end of the day, it falls on us, right? Even though Tina Wesinga was, right? Me and you were just, at work or whatever, and then next thing, shit is blowing up on Twitter, it still falls on us. You know what I mean? So that's where I was kind of like, I was in Munyu, because also, again, the promoter that they were rolling with obviously is an H-Town guy. Yeah. So if they say, hey, yo, how do we say thank you in yours language, right?
And like take the phone and type it.
Yeah. It's like, this is how you say thank you, right? So obviously then at that point it's like, so, some people were saying that's how H got the last laugh at the end of the day. But I mean, I personally, I was like, no, listen, at the end of the day, H-Town paid for the gig. So, because the sheets came from H. Of course. For these unsecured one gig for 2 bags, So it's like, bruh, like, at the end of the day. But yeah, so that's kind of what happened, where people were a little bit, a lot of Ndebele speakers or Ndebele people were very unhappy with that. Especially, again, it's literally less than 24 hours after you've just rocked in Skies.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, and I think the bigger, what it showed me, right, in terms of the big picture thing, is it middle child syndrome? I think it is.
What middle child syndrome?
Where, like, with, I mean, again, it's not necessarily, not specifically that, but like in terms of the behavior, right? That's what I'm trying to point out.
Okay, yeah.
Where what happens a lot of the time in Bulawayo, right? A lot of Ndebele people specifically feel overlooked and almost even identityless, right? In the sense that, there's people who someone tweeted out, they put a screenshot of a WhatsApp chat where she asked someone to translate something in Shona. Yeah. And then the person goes, Kadi, you don't speak Shona. And she goes, yeah, no, I don't speak Shona at all, sorry. And then the person goes, so you're a fake Zimbabwean, right? So every Ndebele person or non-Shona speaker has been through something very, very similar to that.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, Ndebeles end up being very irritable, right? A lot of the time when such stuff like this happens. Because it's like, bro, it's another piece of evidence that shows with the bruh, Agula, that identity that you hold so dear,
y'all don't rate us.
Ndebele. Exactly, you don't rate us. And then so we don't really fit in SA unless we don't mention that we're Zimbabwean, right? That's the only way to fit in SA. So we just kind of, because we can blend in, right? And nobody would be none the wiser. But then again, we're Zimbo, right? And then we don't really fit in Zim because it's like, bruh.
Yeah.
So it's weird. And that's kind of like what I really, in terms of those interactions after they tweeted that's what really stuck out to me at the end of the day in terms of like,
And look, I think we've a lot of our chat about this has been banter. So, and that's been fun. But I think a lot of the banter also came from the fact that, for a change we get a win as a city over the capital.
That's
most of the
big
time,
thing.
Every time the national team plays, they play in Harare. The big gigs. When Akon was here, he played in H-Town. And then when the big December gigs come around, unless it's Oskido or, the Kalawa guys who come through to Queens, they'll most likely maybe go to Vic Falls or H-Town, right? Very few things trickle down to blues. So on that point, I'll tell you a story about when I was in varsity.
There's no money in blues, is it?
Not really. But, that's why people have always like, but we're still like a big city. We still want a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's already the historical awkwardness that comes with, the dynamics in Zim already. So when I was in varsity, this one year, right, I made a very conscious year, like, I will proudly Zimbabwean, identify as Zimbabwean. A lot of my friends were Shona anyways. So a lot of the guys I'd roll around with, we'd get to, and this always happened, right? I'd walk around with Wes, and he'd get to a group of Shona guys. And then they'd all start speaking Shona and I get super awkward because I'm like, fuck. That's why whenever I say, what's your one big regret in life? I'll be like, not learning Shona when I was still home. Because I've found that it helps when you get older and as you move to a new country where you're foreign national to identify with your homeboys. So I was like, so each time it happened, you could tell they expected me to speak in Shona, and then when I didn't, there's a slight disappointment. Like, okay. So even joined ZimSoc one year. Joined ZimSoc, paid the membership fees, everything, got the t-shirt. The whole experience was very awkward because I just couldn't speak the language and no one could grasp why I couldn't speak the language. Or if they could, it annoyed them. Like, this one.
How do you not speak Shona?
Yeah, that kind of a thing. So eventually, excuse me, I quit and I was like, done with this.
And I think at the end of the day, it shouldn't. Being Zimbabwean has nothing to do with your ability to speak Shona, right? We have different tribes that make up, different cultures that make up the country, right? And even though, yes, Shona are the dominating, tribe, they're the majority, period. Yes, no one is ever going to debate that. But it's just kind of one of those things because of that past history. I scheme a lot of people like to walk past that and ignore it and be like, yeah, whatever, it happened in the past. When, yes, it happened in the past, but there's still quite a lot of stuff that needs to be acknowledged and worked through. And, it's almost like, for lack of a better term, Ndebele's always stay getting gaslighted, right? Or gaslit all the time. Right, in different things, in different ways, where it's just like, no, why is it not good enough that even if I don't speak, Shona, you should still recognize me. My passport's the same as you, bro.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same. We from the same country. But it's like you are kind of a step down because you don't. And then it's like, that whole identity crisis that I think a lot of Ndebele people have faced is because of the fact that it's like, it's not like it's just, I don't want to speak. There's reasons why people might not speak Shona or might not be fluent or whatever the case is, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you even kill that vivid for someone to even want to learn when you already sort of like invalidate and their being, when you already belittle and you're just kind of like, bruh, so, because you don't speak Shona, then, hey, what's your problem? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, so those type of things, I think, so again, tying it back to the context for Major League, it was like, they came to Skies, they did this big show, everybody, showed out, showed them love. It was great, right? Absolutely great night. But then you go and you say thank you specifically in, I think it would, again, if they just did it in English, great. Everybody's happy. Everybody's on the same page. But then when you specifically say it in Shona, then you've drawn a line. And it's like, I think maybe had it been reverse order, let's say the H-Town thing happened, right? It actually, the show went on as planned, but they started in Skies, then went on to H, then tweeted what they tweeted. I think it would have been taken a whole lot better, personally.
You reckon?
In my opinion. I think so. I think it would have gone over, because it's like, I think they just left Harare. Obviously, probably learned a little bit of Shona, and that's, how you say thank you, right? So to me, that progression would make a lot of sense. But then to go Harare, Bulawayo, and then specifically tweet in Shona, then it's like, you just knew. Everyone was quoting that tweet and be like, Vele, I know it's war in the comments. Because it is. Because you just know, you see certain things and you're just like, there's no, people are going to be pressed, and rightfully so. They should be pressed. Because it's just like you don't ever want to be in a situation. If you ever speak to someone who's ever felt like their being, has been invalidated, someone who, is gay, for example, they will tell you lots of, experiences with lots of different people, parents, family, friends, whatever, made them feel like they weren't a being, they weren't a human. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, so those are relatable experiences where it's like, if you've ever felt like that for whatever reason or another, it is painful, and you are going to be the person that stays triggered because this shit happens on a, consistent basis.
A consistent basis, like over and over again.
Exactly. But anyway, Oksalayo, well done to Bulawayo. Y'all rocked the house. It looked, I saw some people who paid that 5K, so shout out to them. I saw the bottles of Moe and all that. I was like,
too much.
But I think also another thing I want to touch on. We need some heavy hitters in Skies, man. Like, we don't have any. Asila Chinimbi, all right. Asila, even this Rimo Onangimazi, but he sounds like he's a big deal in H, and like, there's like these guys in H where you say the name and it was like, this is a big one, Who do we have in Skies?
It's not terrible, guys.
Like, I've said
we've got you.
Like, legit. Nah, but not temperament. No. It's too lazy. If me, if others would be like, look at then I won't lie to you guys. We're in a bad place. We in a bad place, bro. We're in a bad place if it's me, bro. Because I literally, I can't think again. Guys, feel free to add us and let us know if there are any. What, Benjani? Like, does Benjani still have money?
There's no
like,
big money.
I don't
Blues,
know,
bro. Like, everyone in Blues is a laborer or working or owns a small business, which can afford a comfortable life, but not to be reckless with it.
No, because I don't know. Maybe is it because Ndebele people just move in silence? So like, there's some heavy hitters, but we just don't know. Like, I don't know. I really don't. But like,
we also don't have a culture of spending.
Like, because everything Ndebele is about being low key. That's the funny part. although when you wear like Ndebele, traditional Ndebele wear, that shit's colorful as fuck. So that always confusing. I'm like, wait, but if you compare it to like if you Xhosa traditional wear, Xhosas are like the classy Goonies, bro.
Yes,
like
those
Xhosa attire is
and
so
swag,
bro. Yo, I'm like, hey, okay, just out here shitting on niggas. We out here looking like Popeyes, and then Xhosa people are just here looking dapper as fuck.
Oh,
you know?
damn time.
But anyway, yeah, that's a whole different story. But yeah, that's the whole major league. But we spent
a decent amount.
Yeah, no, but it was funny. It was funny. Shout out to Bulawayo. Me personally, I love Bulawayo. We're going to be there at Smokehouse in December, turning up. Hopefully, we get some big artists. Because also another thing is like, I honestly think these, especially a lot of these house DJs, right?
Yeah.
And producers, they would have better shows in Skies. Maybe not financially, but they'd have better shows in Skies because it's so many more people who vibe to that music. H-Town is not dominate, like they play house in H, but like it's hip hop, it's dancehall, you know.
It's a lot of,
and there's also Zim artists who are actually big in Zim, you know, who are in Harare. So it's like if Ujazik, you know, or pulled up, or if Kabza pulled up, you know, it's like it would be a dope show. But then if Kabza and Pori pull up to Smokehouse, oh, bruh, come on, like. Literally,
you got people who
all
know
of Bulawayo
all their songs and literally can vibe to every single tune.
Literally, bruh. Literally. And it's like, because in Skies, it's house. Everyone knows. The standard in Skies, if it's not Soul Brothers, it's house. You know? Like, that is the spirit of Skies. And then again, also about to buy a guitar and all that shit. So it's like, it's you know, it makes, if you want to vibe, if you wanted to shoot a movie or whatever, like a trailer for one of your shows, I'd say do it in Skies. But if you want to secure a bag, absolutely go to
H-Town. Yeah, that's where the bag is.
It's not even a comparison. Go to H, secure the bag. But let's see what happens in December. I'm hoping they usually get someone, you know. And again, it doesn't even have to be a big, you know, it doesn't have to be a Kabza. Like they get anyone else, I'm good as long as the guy can spin.
You are happy.
I'm Gucci. I see the happy. Hey, that track is a banger. It's a banger, that track. That track is a banger. But anyway, right, on to this. I guess let's treat the rest of these items like the rundown, but let's run through this quickly.
Okay.
So I was listening to it is my favorite podcast, apart from this one, obviously. Brilliant Idiots.
Yeah.
And they were discussing Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving is a basketball player in the NBA, and he's currently making headlines because he doesn't want to take the vaccine. So again, there's reasons and whatever that he's put out, but the reasons are not important for this particular discussion. So all you need to know is Kyrie Irving doesn't want to take the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
And he plays for the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn is in New York, and the state of New York has a mandate to say if you play professional sports in New York City, you have to be vaccinated, otherwise you can't play, period.
Okay.
There's no negotiation there. So all the other players obviously on the Brooklyn Nets are vaccinated and are currently playing.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving is not
playing.
and is currently not playing, right? So the discussion that Andrew and Charlemagne were having were how people stick to their sides. Like there's no, maybe like let's say the morality of it is not really there, or the logic of it rather is not really there. People just, you know, they react for whatever suits their side. And what they meant by that, they gave two examples. So Kyrie Irving is example number one. LeBron James was example number two. So LeBron James, obviously, when is always outspoken on social issues, specifically the Black Lives Matter, you know, police brutality. He's been very, very vocal about it. So the point that they brought up was when LeBron James speaks out on Black Lives Matter or police brutality and racial injustice in America, the right always says what? They always say, shut up and dribble.
Stick to basketball.
Stick to sports. Let's not politicize things. Hey, what? We're just here to, you know, we're just here to watch the game. Like, why are you, you know what I mean? So that's what the right says. And then what does the left say? The left say, no, let LeBron speak. You know, let him, you know, he needs to speak about it. He's more than an athlete, right? That's what the left said. Now, what was funny is that fast forward Kyrie Irving doesn't want to take the vaccine. So the lefts are saying, Kyrie, shut up and play. Like, why are you even doing this? Hey, what? Like, what the hell, bro? Get the vaccine. It's not that deep. Stop it. That's what the left is saying.
Yeah.
The right is like, no. Freedom of speech. Kyrie has a point. If he doesn't want to take the vaccine, it's his right. You guys shouldn't force him. A, B, C, D. It's not a political issue.
Let him do his thing.
Let him do his thing. So it was so the point that Andrew was making was the fact that literally the right and the left just stick to their sides. It's not so the lefts don't just, it's not about free speech. That's not really what unless it's only free speech if you are talking my language. The moment you stop talking my language, whether I'm right or I'm left,
then it becomes,
then it's like, yeah, shut up. Which is also emblematic of what we always criticize about Twitter, that people love when we talk about all of these things. They like chatting in spaces where Senna agrees with me, but in the moment Senna goes left,
then it's like
I start to attack him.
Yeah,
of
course.
And I found that to be very, very fascinating, to be like, yeah, the left is really telling Kyrie to shut up and dribble. Whenever, but when it's Black Lives Matter, it's like, no, let them speak. Really, they're supposed to be speaking. Hey, what, it was fascinating.
It's an interesting chat. So Owakatesi is not playing for the foreseeable future, or just as long. Hectic, and that's going to be
so until he takes it. He's not stepping on the court. He can't practice with the team. Nothing. So he can play. Technically speaking, because not all the states in America have this mandate. It's New York, it's California.
So technically he can play in some states.
And then, yes, so he can play away games. That's the other. You remember you were talking about in the visual episode with the COVID laws as being very stupid.
Yeah.
So if Kyrie, because I don't think Pennsylvania has this law, right? So if Kyrie played for the Philadelphia 76ers and they come to play New York, he is not forced to be vaccinated if he's an opposition player. But if you're a home player, you play for the Brooklyn Nets, you have to be vaccinated or you can't play. But all the away teams
can have their players play. Shame. And that's going to be a big inconsistency in terms of how you deal with,
which makes no sense.
Like that. Yeah, it doesn't. Because it's like, okay, so COVID, because it's an away player, decided to take a break. It decided that, because Maps is playing an away game, all right.
Exactly. Right. But if it's a home game,
yeah, it is a bit devoid of logic, I must say. I'm not for it. It's like the thing that I also wanted to chat about in the Quinton de Kock thing.
Yeah,
it's Scafanana. It's like you have to at some point allow people to keep their liberties, because if you don't do that, then you're basically running you're basically mandating him to get vaccinated at this point.
Yeah, you're not forcing him, but you're forcing it.
Yeah, you're indirectly. It's a push factor, right? He now will feel like he has to, and at some point, his employers are going to lose patience and be like, "My G, come on now.
Yeah,
we can wait, but we can't wait forever." So
exactly,
either you do this thing or you're not playing.
But again, for me, the biggest thing was just kind of how we just want to hear what people who agree with us have to say. And we do everything to shut the voices of the opposition, and because a lot of the time on the surface, leftists look like they have the moral high ground.
Yeah,
a lot of the time, right? Pro-choice and all this other stuff, what I mean. And then on liberals, conservatives, typically they don't have the moral high ground on a lot of stuff.
No, they
don't. And that's usually kind of how. So if you say, "Oh no, I'm a conservative," people look at you. At least a lot of leftists look at you in a very negative way, right? It's not good to be conservative, but it's good to be liberal. That's the general school of thought.
Yeah.
But then again, with these two examples of LeBron and Kyrie, I just found it very, very fascinating. Uti, literally, it's not about the morality of it all. It's just about
which side of
on
the
left,
argument you're
you believe this, which is like, does this shit really matter then?
Yeah, it does.
what are we actually doing? You know, like it's just, oh man, like I'm a psychologist. I can't wait for any papers that you guys write on this because, you know, this is fascinating stuff to me in terms of the behaviors and whatnot. But you mentioned something about the South African cricketer Quinton de Kock. Like it was a similar type of situation.
It was almost similar. So you know how Kyrie refuses to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Even though it's mandated to by his employer, the team, right? The franchise he plays for. With Quinton is a bit different. So Quinton de Kock is probably South Africa's best batsman at the moment, in terms of like limited overs, so T20s and ODIs. There's currently, at this moment in time, the T20 World Cup happening for those who've been following, and other countries or players have decided that they're going to take the knee. You know, kind of like how they do it in the EPL before matches. You can choose to take the knee and then raise your fist in honor, you know, Black Lives Matter, or as they would put it, it's not in Black Lives Matter movement, it's just in support of
anti-racism.
Of anti-racism messaging. So what then happened is, in the first game, all the other teams, or most of the other teams, took the knee, and it was unified. Like if you saw the New Zealand guys do it, all of them went down on the knee. The England guys, I think all of them were also took the knee. And then in the South African team, the black guys took it, the white guys stood, only about one or two other guys took it, and then it was just inconsistent. It just looked very divided. It didn't look unified. It wasn't proper at all, right? And was given South Africa's history, like, you know, the whole apartheid thing, it's not a good look. It's like, so you guys still segregated Muhammadan. So initially CSA,
that's the truth. That's how it is.
It is how it is, Shem. So CSA was very careful in the beginning, or when this whole thing started last year, that we won't force people to take the knee. It will be up to the players.
CSA is
Cricket South Africa, right? CSA Cricket South Africa. Cricket South Africa then say, no, look, you don't have to take the knee. It's up to you. But when those pictures came up, it wasn't a good look at all, right? So I'm sure even when the political heads who run South Africa looked at it, they were like, that's not right. It's either you're all standing or you're all kneeling. And you can't not take the knee if you have black people in your team, right? So they're like, you know what? All of you kneel. Cricket South Africa says, all of you, Seganin Lonke, white, blue, brown, Indian, colored, Kukanini. And they sent the directive, I think, on the morning of their game against the West Indies. And then Quinton de Kock then decided to withdraw from playing for the team, due to that he felt like he was being forced to take the knee. And obviously Twitter was ablaze. He was training the whole day. And it's that thing, always sure witty, no one became objective, right? Everyone was not looking at it from racial lines. So black people, including myself, I'll put myself there, were then like, no man, if he can't take the knee in a country where his black teammates, in an African country, then and he chooses not to play, then let him not play, then send him home. Because it's literally, no one's saying join Black Lives Matter, no one's saying freaking do this, do that. They're just saying, look, take an initiative towards this anti-racism gesture. That's all. He said, I'd rather not play if that's the case. People were like, you know what, fine, you're good, but who will live? The team won without him, which was important. But then what then followed was a whole debate. So white people then came and said, no, but you can't take away his liberties. You kind of just have to let him do what he wants to do. Don't force him to do these gestures. Don't force him to do these signs. Because the moment you do that, you're giving government too much power, or the authority too much power to decide. And my take was, well, he's already mandated to sing the national anthem whenever something happens in the country. You're forced to wear black armbands. You know how they do that in football as well. They do it in cricket too. When your sponsor says, we're sponsoring the team, wear this jersey, you do it, right? No questions asked. Why then, when it comes to this very simple messaging, all of a sudden, my rights, liberties, all these things,
Sule problem.
So that's why I think it was similar to the Kyrie thing. Just in the sense that now you have a player who can't play unless he does something. Now, De Kock he issued an apology. He came back the next day and said, "Hi guys, I'm colored. I'm sorry. Black lives matter since I was born. My stepmom is black. I'm mixed race. All these things that the usual.
My best friend is black.
Yeah, that whole thing. My cat was in the ANC. My dog was in Robben Island with Mandela. All that stuff.
Protected Mandela."
But he gave an apology, which was an apology. He said he's sorry and that he'll take the knee so that he can continue playing. So he took the knee and he's played badly since then. I think the spirit of Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo are just not happy. So until he does something, I don't know. Hey, it happens.
He needs to slaughter a goat.
He needs to slaughter a goat or something like that, because his performances haven't been great since then. And I understand part of his reasoning, but then I'm like, bro, it's literally just a gesture. It's not something that you're going to fight to city. You'd rather not play for your country.
But you know what? What I've seen with a lot of these things, especially with Black Lives Matter specifically, or no, not Black Lives Matter, Colin Kaepernick, you heard that story, right? In terms of him, that's how the whole thing started. Taking a knee thing started. And initially, they asked Colin Kaepernick, they said, "Colin, why are you kneeling during the national?" Oh no, first initially he was sitting. "Why are you sitting during the national anthem? Why aren't you standing?" And then he explained, "No, I can't stand for an anthem that brutalizes black people, and the police are killing my people." And and then that's how it caught fire. And so he had a conversation. So obviously people started to politicize it. And he had a conversation with someone from the military who says, "Colin, I respect what you're doing, but I feel like sitting is disrespecting the national anthem." So him and the military guy said, after that discussion, Colin decided, "I will take a knee," because taking a knee is respectful. Across all cultures, taking a knee is still showing respect. So I'll show respect to the national anthem and respect to the troops, right, of America, but also I'm not going to stand for the anthem because of these reasons that I've already stated. And what I've realized is that a lot of people, whenever you don't want to do a certain thing, or especially when it comes to it being the right thing, right? Because again, Black Lives Matter should not be a political statement.
It's not contentious. Like, it's literally.
It's not contentious.
Do you agree that black people should not be killed systemically by anybody?
Exactly. So again, something which is relatively straightforward, because we're not right? They are going to politicize this thing, like, hey, it's a this and that, whether it's Kyrie and the vaccine, whether it's your guy, the cricket guy, talking about Quinton, right? Whether it's the people who didn't want people to kneel because of Colin Kaepernick, they were saying, no, if you kneel, in America they turned it into, you're disrespecting the troops, apparently you're disrespecting our military and our flag. They turned it into that, even though the guy explicitly said, "This is why I'm kneeling." And they said, no, it's a political thing. Because again, it allows you, when you hide behind politics, it allows you not to, own up and be accountable to certain things or admit certain wrongs. Right? And that's what happened. So you talking about this to me and him apologizing eventually is like, again, personally, I think if someone doesn't want to take the knee, don't let's sing our force, because again, at the end of the day, he doesn't mean it. He doesn't give a fuck, and he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be part of it. I know, yes, we want to be unified as a team, but I don't want to force up, right? Like, nah.
So would your take have been for Cricket South Africa to just leave it and then, I don't know, let me say, continue with the mixed sort of pictures that we were seeing?
What I would say is again, if the whole thing is to have everybody look unified, I'd be like, for those who don't want to kneel, sit in the tunnel until the national anthems or whatever, whenever they kneel, until it's done. And then those who are kneeling and they're together. And then you'll come afterwards when we're finished.
That's even worse, I think.
Nah, bro. I think, because again, I don't want, it's tricky, right? Because you don't want to infringe on people's rights.
True.
Right? Forcing is taking away that right and telling him, threatening him, Uguti, okay, fine. You know, if your manager goes, you know, Senna, I want you to work on Saturdays. You're like, no, Saturday is a weekend. I don't want to. And then your manager goes, okay, sharp. We're just not going to pay you this month. If you continue to not want to work on Saturday, okay, next month we're going to fire you. Like, this is your last month. Yeah. We're giving you notice right now. Guess what Senna's going to do? Yeah. He's going to be okay with working on Saturdays, right? Which is not fair because Senna doesn't want to. And he's going to do it, but he's going to do it begrudgingly. And that's not the way you want him to do it, right? So that's why I'm just kind of like, bro, let them go into the tunnel and, you know, join the team later. And, you know, we leave it that way because there's also freedom, but then there's also unity, right? Trying to strike that balance.
Because shout out to my friend Sims. Sims was like, he was more uncomfortable with the idea of a government just being able to force you to make such a gesture. That it it does open the door for next thing they'll be like, okay, fine, it's take the knee this month. It's swastika the next month. You know, I can see that, but at the same time, the example so the example swastika is probably a bit too extreme. But the example he made was so there's this thing in South Africa where white South Africans they claim that there's a lot of farm murders that are done by black people that are racially motivated as part of the whole land expropriation thing. So they're killing white people in farms apparently. Even though it's kind of been proven that more black people die on farms statistically than white people, and more black people die in South Africa from violence more than white people anyways. But story for another day. So he's like, what if the white Afrikaners came and they said, right, Siya Kolisi, next time South Africa play England in the rugby championship, you must take the knee.
Yeah,
and that
for white lives matter.
Like the moment you do it to the cock, best believe they will store the V11s, and then Vervoet next month they will come to Ellis Park or wherever the Springboks are playing and say, no, Sia and all these other guys also take the knee for white lives, for the farm murders. And I was like, you know what, if farm murders are really racially motivated and government also says, hey, we acknowledge we have a crisis here, or human rights organizations are like, hey, you know what, there's a problem there, it's happening, take the knee.
The Makiwas are getting had over there, bro.
Take the knee, because you don't want it to be happening anyways, right? Take the knee.
Yeah, morally speaking, take the knee. You know, like it's not something that should be happening, right? So, but then what would happen obviously is the BLM crew are going to be like, Sat.
Of course,
there's no way
they're going to say no. And that was the point that Sims was making, that if you flip it the other way and you make that argument, black people they're going to be the exact same way white people are with Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
We're going to be
absolutely
very but are they really being killed? My rights, do I really have receipts to kneel?
Like, when did Cobus die? Like how did
exactly?
You know what I mean? Like,
we're going to.
Can it be proven that it was?
We
a black
are going to be those guys. You know? and that's where,
which is mad.
That's where after I spoke, that's why I'm like, oh, okay. I've also, the moment the news came out, I sat with my people on this side and I was like, no man, send him home. And then afterwards, I'm like, still send him home, but
the people will have the arguments of but systemic racism, you know what I mean? Like, so people always have their argument, which is again like what Andrew was saying on Brilliant Idiots. So you just back your side. At the end of the day, people, what they do it's not rational. What they do is just back their side.
And Queenie's backing his side
the same way.
Kyrie's backing his side.
And that's just how it is. But anyway, that was very, very, very interesting. Sports psychology for the people them. On to even more serious chats. Elon Musk made some headlines because apparently, maybe the secretary of the UN, I don't know, someone high up in the UN said that the world's billionaires need to come together and they said like a quarter. Well, it was something like a third, or not even a third. I think it was a small percentage that he gave of Elon Musk's worth would help to solve world hunger, right? So Elon Musk catches wind of that, and apparently the math calculates to $6 billion. So $6 billion would help to end world hunger, right? So Elon Musk then tweets out, right, if the UN so claims, this 6 billion would help end world hunger, not help, but it would end world hunger, then I'm going to sell Tesla stock right now, and I'll give you the money. But my condition is that you use open source accounting so that the public can see exactly how you're trying to do these dams. So then whoever it was, I'm just going to go with the Secretary of the UN for the sake of this, then came back and said, no, Mr. Musk, we didn't say that only 6 billion from you is going to, eradicate world hunger. What we said was it will definitely help. It will say, and then they said, according to their math, specifically, it would help, if I'm not wrong, 48 million. It would save 48 million lives. It would feed 48 million. Right, that was their maths, of which I was kind of like, oh, okay, 48 is really not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, it is something that we've always known. Again, if you put Bezos with Gates, with Musk, with Buffett, with, whoever other megas up there in the $100 billion mark, or just under 100, if you put them together, really, we can work through a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Like, because again, it's ungodly the amount of money that Jeff Bezos has. Yeah, it's ungodly. No, what are you gonna do with that money?
I remember the one time someone once posted, was it Jeff Bezos or Elon? It was Jeff Bezos, and they're like, if he was to try and spend all his money in his lifetime, he wouldn't be able to. Like.
Yeah, because it's just too much.
You would not be able to, like, short of buying something which doesn't exist, that doesn't have a price on it right now, you won't be able to spend his money. You won't be able to finish it all.
Literally. And which is why, I mean, again, I understood where the UN was coming from, right? So yeah, it was the director of the UN's World Food Program, David Beasley, who said this. So then, he clarified to say the UN's World Food Program never said that 6 billion would solve world hunger. Yeah. This one-time donation would save 42 million lives during an unprecedented hunger crisis, he tweeted. So again, I think obviously when it does come to the world's billionaires, like personally, again, what's going to happen if Jeff Bezos has, I think he's 300 billion, if I'm not mistaken. If he has that type of money, and then you alleviate him of 10 billion, like, guys, you know what I mean? Like, literally, it's not going to be for him. Again, obviously, he's going to be annoyed on all this other shit. But 10 billion out of 300, it's okay to part with that. But also, again, the UN, like Mtogo was telling me that the UN raised 8 billion, if I'm not mistaken. Apparently, if Mtogo's numbers was accurate, the UN raised 8 billion last year, and was still in a world crisis, in a world hunger crisis. So, it's like, I think, again, it's kind of like, what personally my view of the UN,
there's conflict of interest when it comes to the UN, so I can't really.
So I mean, so my view, to be honest, of the UN is my view of Apple, my view of any car manufacturer, by my cabin or whatever. No. I mean, again, it's not about the individuals who work there.
No, of course I mean, I'm playing around.
the culture, the culture of the body, which is the same way Apple will have a new iPhone every single year. You can't build the iPhone of the century, which will never die. Battery will last 2 days and all this other shit. Because then it's like, okay, then Apple's no longer relevant in terms of in the future. What's the point? If the iPhone 13 was the phone of the century and Vele there's no need for an iPhone 14, 15, all the way to 20.
Yeah.
Then they've shot themselves in the foot, which is kind of how I look at the UN, where it's like, yeah, they could solve the hunger crisis if they were serious, but it doesn't work for their bottom line.
Look, I think the UN itself, so that they have like many donors, right? Like different companies, usually that have ties to heads of states. So usually these companies in the West, that's the UK, the US, Australia, New Zealand, all these big ass nations that have a lot of money, even China, Korea, all the big countries, right? Russia and all of them. They usually have set funds that they put aside that they will donate to countries in need of aid, and they'll just use the UN as a vehicle to do it. Right, so the UN is where they all come together. So the UN has different organizations. So you have the World Vision, World Food Program, UNICEF, and all these other places, right? So they'll, I think, probably fund various measures through these organizations, companies that fall under the UN. Now, I think it's not necessarily the UN itself, which they're just a vehicle, right? They're like a middleman in all these things. They organize and distribute to the different corners of the world. Any corner of the earth where there's hunger, they will find it, they will bring the food there. But I fear it's in exchange for what? What do these other countries get in return for the aid that they provide, right? I think if you look closely at some of these mining rights that are always being given away, some of the land and the deals, the trade agreements that our governments get into, I think that food aid comes in exchange for that. I saw Mnangagwa yesterday at the climate change thing, where and these are his exact words. I'm actually not shitting, and it's not even a matter of Guti. I'm being overly critical just because he's, ZANU-PF, but I know for a fact that if it was any president, even if it was a president of the opposition who said this, so he's like, my country feels the impact of climate change more than most. Declining rainfall and droughts have been increasing in Zimbabwe. I call on the COP to provide concrete economic support to vulnerable countries globally to mitigate the effects of climate change. Right. So he's saying, well, a vulnerable country, please provide economic support. That economic support will come through the UN, but best believe after Biden's given you economic support, you'll say, so what are you going to do for me?
Yeah.
And now you have to give away the land somewhere where you have your minerals stacked up.
I mean, but even with that, again, I won't challenge that specifically. But like you see the way the UN runs, right? As a person who went to an international school, right? The school fees was, when I was there, about $24,000 a year. That was our school fees, USD, 24,000, somewhere there. And because, again, my typical NGO kind of perks, right?
Yeah.
So my mom worked for an NGO, and then I went to school with a lot of us, like 90% of us were NGO kids, right? And the bulk obviously being the UN. So my friends whose moms and dads worked for the UN, they had their tuition paid. We had our tuition paid by the NGO.
Yeah.
And, there's all these different perks of and again, imagine how many people across the world this is. How many kids of AMA UN workers where your tuition is covered. In the UN, I think it's all the way up to, school fees is covered all the way until you're like 22 or 25, somewhere there. So uni is covered. Right? So all of your primary school, high school, and
it's sorted.
Think about financially how much that is. That's sorted, right? You can now go to a school where, so they'll move you to a country, they'll move you to Tanzania or wherever, they'll move you to wherever in the world, right? Colombia. And now, literally, your mom goes, right, which is the best school here in this city? Sharp, I'm sending Senna there, right? Because it's not coming out of her pocket, the UN is paying. So I'm looking at all of these things, and again, those people do deserve it, because they're doing a lot of work, right? So I'm not trying to say, Guti, no, they don't deserve it. Yeah, obviously people should be fairly compensated in that way. I think honestly, teachers as well should be compensated in a similar type way.
Yeah.
Where teachers should really, not necessarily be raking it in terms of money, but they should be getting so many more perks because they're educators.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. But that model, yes, it's good in terms of, you're rewarding people properly in terms of taking care of them. But I'm like, yo, some of this money is like, you don't have to, put imagine, Senna, me telling you, Senna has his wife and his kids. He's got 3 kids. And for the 3 kids, Senna gets to pick a school that charges $50,000. So 150,000. He suggests on Senna by himself.
And
and there's not even to add in the housing allowance and all this other shit.
And all the benefits and the perks that come from being a child of someone who works in an NGO. It's there's a lot of them, and you can always ask yourself, and a lot of this actually usually requires a lot of self-critiquing, because my mother would always say they're starving children wherever and you could tell Guti, hey, it's not just an expression, this person actually means it. Actually seen it live. And it requires a lot of self-critiquing that actually it's a very privileged position to be in, because at the same time you understand Guti, that money could easily just go towards feeding a whole family.
I mean, that 6 billion would just purely be even just covering operational costs of what it takes to run certain, departments in the UN. And it's just like, it wouldn't even touch those. Because again, I think the way Elon would want to see it and the way a lot of us would want to see it would be, where the money is almost like, okay, here's $6 billion. It went straight into the Makayas in Zim, and we fixed this. Because again, everybody can sort of imagine with $6 billion, how much shit could you sort out in skies, right? With purely that investment. That's the way people look at that. But unfortunately, by the time it gets to the point of, right, let's fix shit in the skies. Minister Low says, this and this has been done, and then, $100,000 gets to skies, of which, and that's why I'm like, I don't know. We should reevaluate this whole NGO thing.
Way it works.
The way it works, I think it's again, there can be a lot of improvements in my opinion, and there's ways where the people who really need it, it doesn't make sense for a huge amount of right. This year we got donors $10 million in our cart. Our cart would eat 10 million. And it doesn't make sense where that
Elon
shit
Musk's
went.
sheets would literally just be same as those donors that they get from states overseas. It would go the same way, and they'll be back again saying, hey, next billionaire, listen, we need this.
Which is why, me personally, if the data's out there, I'll look it up. I'll do some research and see. And again, if you're listening to this and you know where it is in terms of the maths that they did, the UN, please tag us. I'd love to see how they worked out and got to the number of 42 million lives. If it is open source accounting, I'd love to see what thems they're doing. Because, I think maybe one improvement would be all NGOs. That shit got to be open source. We need to see what kind of like when companies are registered as public. So Apple, we can see all of that shit is public. The numbers, the figures are there. Like NGOs, same thing. We must see what the money is going. Okay, sharp. Operational cost X. This is what happened. We built a borehole. It cost this. Like UN. When UN moves, bruh. UN buy the latest Land Cruisers, dog. The latest. They move big. Arms, bruh. They move
because the brand is they need
like
to go into these.
Nah, bruh. Buy a Hilux, dog. Buy a Fortuna. It's half the price. You know how much a Land Cruiser costs?
Yeah, because it needs to go in all terrain.
They have the latest item. That's what kills me. Land Cruiser engine. NGO. You're telling me you can't buy some 2015 items, some 2016 items, which will probably cost you half the price, brand new. A Land Cruiser can easily be like what, $60,000? I don't know the price of a brand new Land Cruiser, but maybe even 80,000, right? Because again, they put the new technologies, and it's a machine. You know, Toyota counts on the UN to say, right, we need 5,000 Land Cruisers. You know, and they pay Toyota. You know, and so it's a cycle. It's a vicious circle.
It's a vicious cycle.
And it's mad. But like personally, I think let's have some open sources. Because niggas would be shocked, bruh. Imagine 2,000 Land Cruisers, bruh, ordered. I'm at 2020.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think if the public saw that, someone would go, no, man. You couldn't get something. You know what I mean? Like, if you really audit these things. Again, if someone is maybe we'll find someone who's, our mothers and she maybe we have this conversation on the pod and be like, where does the money go realistically? Because again, my mother directly works with donors. Yeah, she literally would tell me, this year, we were able to raise XXXXX. These are the fundraisers that we did. This was the initiatives that we put in and stuff like that, right? So I'd be very curious to see operationally, what's going on? Let's look under the hood. If anyone was willing to have those conversations, I'd be very curious about that.
It'll be an interesting chat. It'll be an interesting chat.
No, definitely. Right, Bagit. Let's move on into. We've been in the run, but we're not really running. So one thing that I wanted to touch on.
Yeah.
Again, we don't need to get into the details of this because it was kind of nasty. There was a what's that folk song that we sing? Yes, that's the one. Exactly. So said frog. Again, I will not go into detail.
That was some nasty.
There were for those who might not have seen it, the video's on Twitter. DM someone who's on Twitter, they'll probably be able to find it. There was a frog, and this frog was in a certain location inside a certain woman, south. It was a live frog being pulled out by the foot slowly outside of the private parts of said lady, and that was.
I'll never forgive you for sending me that video.
Personally.
Actually,
I couldn't die alone, bro. No. You know what? I didn't think he was that mad because I saw my people on my timeline. Hey, the frog. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I put it out there. I'm like, yo, where's this video? And then someone DM'd it to me, and I was like, oh.
So you're like, okay, let me spread the love. I didn't need to see that.
Yeah, let me spread.
No. I didn't need to see it. I personally didn't need to see it.
I was, to be honest, on the nasty scale of 1 to 10, probably a 3 for me. Probably a 3. But on the oh my god, I'm shook scale, it was a 12. Right? 12 out of 10. Because I had so many questions. There's so many things that didn't make sense. I'm like, yo, how is that motherfucker still alive? How was he breathing? Like, do frogs need oxygen? I think they do, right?
They can. I think they can be in water for a while. So I don't think they need that much.
So man was swimming in the cooch. He was alright.
I'm sure he was alright.
Again, I don't know. It just did not make any sense. Did you read that whole paragraph was a whole
Tabo, debate, I closed that article the moment you sent it to me.
I was hoping you would read it and we know the actual context.
Let me not open the vid and try and read.
Because I think it was probably around. Someone was saying it's a fertility ritual in some country.
For what?
fertility, is it?
It as in it works.
I mean, obviously, I don't think it works, but like it's a belief.
Ah.
Yeah. No. As Africans, we do some hella wild shit, bro. We do some wild shit. Like, you talk to Sto about the shit that she knows of what we do in Debele culture, for example, or whatever, Onguni culture, to help a woman get fertile. Like, you've heard all of these stories, but like, come on, we've got shit about mermaids and all this other random stuff. So when the person told me Witty, it was some fertility, I was like, you know what?
Right.
I'm really not that surprised that we're out here doing shit like this.
So then let me read it. So I knew it came from that other app. So it looks like a Facebook screenshot. I just knew it.
Yeah, it is.
So the name of the page is called, for those who want to go back to it and check it out, izindaba ezingathathi hlangothi. Uyabalisa owesifazane ophume ixoxo esithweni sakhe sangasese. Owesifazane eligodliweyo igama lakhe ngenhloso yokuthi avikeleke. Lo also means her name, so I forgot I need to translate. So it means her name is being held privately so that her rights are protected and she's protected. Lo wesifazane ovele waphuma ixoxo esithweni sakhe sangasese kwavele kwahlasimulisa umzimba kubantu abaningi. What does ukuhlasimulisa umzimba mean?
No, you don't even know.
I guess it means maybe it made you shook and cringe. I think I can see that. So it goes on to quote, ukuqala kwami ukuzwa leli xoxo ngaphakathi ngangizitshela ukuthi isibeletho sami sinenkinga. Ngathi no man, noma kuthiwa sinenkinga isibeletho sami sesingaze singixhumaxhume pho. How cha akukwazi. Kusho lo owesifazane. So translation,
so
she thought that it's because her pregnancy, I think, is problematic, but she's like, no man.
I took that as maybe like the
her womb.
Maybe to say
her
womb
exactly.
Has a problem. To be like, hey,
and it's being
okay.
Yeah, maybe her womb has a problem and then it's being, funny. And then she's like, no man, why is it moving around so much? What's the issue?
Yeah.
Ngibe sengiqaphela ukuthi ixoxo leli ebelilokhe lixhumaxhuma ngiyasola lifakwe ilo ebengibanga naye indoda ngoba akahlukani nemithi usengazi angithakathe. So translation.
Oh my God.
She says she suspects that the frog was inserted up her pum pum by another woman with whom she's fighting over a man with, and she's not leaving this man alone. Because also she thinks that this other woman is into witchcraft and imiti and traditional medicine.
Men are
stuff.
not worth it. They are not worth you out here putting frogs in people, man. What?
Uthi how umntangaza ngithakathe kanje pho ngiyayibonga i-ladies house, angiyazi i-ladies house yini. Kusho lo owesifazane. Lo wesifazane nendoda engeyofika kuleli inele yezwa ukuthi uyena lo obephuma ixoxo yavele yamgabhela khona lokho bahlukana. So he dumped her because of that. So when the guy found out ukuthi ixoxo lephuma,
there's a frog in the item.
Lo wesifazane uthi lento naye imshaqisile akazi yenze njani ngoba lento yakhe yokungeqwa amabhulukwe isimfake enkingeni. So she doesn't know what happened. It took her also by surprise ngoba she doesn't know why It's happened and it's got her into a lot of trouble. Hey. Anyway, so the whole article's in Zulu. There's the picture of the frog. I definitely regret watching it. But yeah, Mr. Maps, it turns out she thinks she was bewitched.
Yeah, no,
guys.
This is not Harry Potter. Oh yeah, I was gonna say I tweeted this out and I was like, it reminded me in Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets, Ron, his wand was broken, so he couldn't cast his spell properly, and then he cast a spell that made him. I don't know, I can't remember. But anyway, he either casted it himself by mistake or someone cast it on him to eat slugs. So he kept vomiting slugs out of his mouth. So in my mind, it went specifically to that. And I was like, this is really some Harry Potter shit, bro. Because, bruh. I'm sorry. Like, no, I personally, I would. No. Like, honestly, that's mad. Yeah, that is. Hey, Bagit. Nah.
No, guys.
Again,
men are not worth it.
It's real life because the shit came out of the cooch, and it's like, so clearly it was put there. And I'm like, even if this article is like made up to match.
No, but there's
a video. Is like
that shows you that it.
Yeah, happened. That's what I'm saying. Even we might not know the real context, but at the end of the day, this shit happened. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I'm like, nah. Like, at some point, it has to stop.
Stories that would be in Umtunya. I think we spoke about Umtunya the last time. I said it's like the Zim version of Daily Sun in South Africa or something like that. Umtunya B Metro would have all these weird stories of woman gives birth to a snake, woman gives birth to a frog, man finds something in woman's vagina, and then all of a sudden. I wouldn't.
It turns out the shit might have
Now
been
I'm going back and I'm like, actually, all those stories that are telling lies in the communities. I'm scared.
No, me personally, I'm bunk, bro. Like this is, this. I was like, yo, this is mad. Like, you hear these things, yeah, whatever, But this is actually like, So now, like this today, I sneezed and I had some discomfort in my chest, and I was like, maybe maybe someone's put a little something inside me. But anyway, let me see. What do we have here in the rundown? This is definitely going to be 2 hours. It is what
it's fine. They'll be strong.
Oh yeah. I saw. I don't know where I saw this. Maybe you posted it, but. Someone was at a concert, maybe it was you. But yeah, someone was at a concert and they had their girlfriend. They had to like pick her up on like his shoulders so that she could see properly. And in my mind, I was like, oh, thank God my wife is tall, bro. Like, imagine
should have done that
having
before.
A short girlfriend. Yeah, but like, so no, so milling siblings.
Well,
you know what I mean?
not
Like, now I have to go to work.
You just put her on your shoulders.
Yes,
cute.
it is. No. And then at what point do you drop it, bro? Because at some point you're going to get uncomfortable. Your muscles are going to get tight. And it's just going to be like...
Well, it depends.
And if you're at a concert, the shit is not going to end in 30 minutes, not. Right? So is she going to be on your shoulders for like an
hour? Most of it.
Anyway, I'm grateful that she is a tall hand. She's 6 feet tall. And, she doesn't need such, assistance. She can just look up and
just for the cuteness.
So, no, it's not necessary. You can be cute in other ways. Why am I picking you up, bro? Like, there needs to be a separation.
Okay, no, I hear you.
But anyway,
but it's not a bad thing. Like, I think it can be cute. I've done it before, but it can work. You just also need to be fit yourself as a person. Can't just make sure your shoulders are trained.
If I'm there to have a good time, I'm there to have a good time. If I'm there to work out, I'm there to work out. Let's not get
Is that when you're now dragging the short hands?
Yeah, no. Hey, that was another thing, bro. Today, like, this other short hand in the office almost like walked over. I couldn't see her, and I was like, yo, like, like I was so surprised because I was annoyed because she gave me a dirty look because she also like kind of saw what almost happened. So she gave me a dirty look, as if like, no, you should be looking down. Nah, nigga, I'm not looking down.
Of
like,
course.
No. Put a cone on your
Nancy, put a cone on your head.
If it's that deep. No, honestly, bruh. Like,
yeah.
I'm a hazards on like, I don't know, make a plan. But yeah, another thing. So we're talking about our plans for December, is it? And I saw one of my friends was at this lodge, Matopo Hills lodge, and I asked him a question about the, something that I'd heard. So another set of friends of mine went last year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, about a year ago. And they were meant to be there for like 2 nights or maybe 3 nights. But apparently, at Matopo Hills Lodge, in the rooms, you can find umbankwa, but the big lizards,
like blueheads.
Right. So like, no. Listen, they're not town blueheads. The wild that are 1/4 Inyo type of that. Them big items. Yeah, and they creep me the fuck out. That's the one thing that scares me about. Not scares me, but I'm not a fan of creepy crawlies, and like lizards are not really aggressive. They look the part, but they're not, the type to attack you or anything like that. They see a human, they run away, right? But the way that they move scares you. You know what I mean? Like they're just so sudden and so fast, and they move. They like like it's just not nice, right? So I'm not a fan of lizards at all. So I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, bro, because the lodge is dope, bro. It's dope. I've seen people there. I've seen, I've looked it up online, and it's just like, I'm like, okay, cool.
You said Matopo Hills.
I'd love to go there, but yeah, Matopo Hills. It's great. Like, look it up. It's absolutely fantastic. But I'm not going there for the simple reason. So I asked my friend, I'm like, right, I heard Utikwa, there's lizards, big ass lizards that you'll find in the bedroom. And he was like, yep, facts.
Sure, are they like dangerous?
And I was like, no, they don't know. Again, they're scared of humans, so they're not gonna come for you. But they're just there. No. Like me, I don't feel like I just don't. Nah.
I'm looking at it now,
not
bro.
for
It
me,
looks dope. Let's go.
It's not for me. It looks amazing. But you're not gonna catch me sleeping there, though. Like, I promise you that. Imagine, Sena, you are sleeping, yeah? And you're thinking, you're cuddling umfasi. You're like, right, when I wear can't use a Komodo dragon. Nah. Like, you can't have that.
I feel like
you
you're being
can't
dramatic.
Nah. No, fam.
There's freaking leopards surrounding the place and you're worried about lizards.
I would take my chances with the leopard. At least I know what's going on there. And I just no, bro. Like, again, I'd love to honestly love it. Looks so beautiful, and again, I'm from Madopo, so it's like I'd love it, but nah, fam, I would not even sleep peacefully. It's hard enough living in Burnside. Now we're going to go even deeper. Nah. Can't be at all. But anyway. That was my little rant about lizards. I'm not a fan.
Bro, these chalets look dope.
They look. I know it's an awesome place. I won't lie to you. Let's save the washing machine item for next.
Okay, and the other social. Yeah, my talking stages.
The ice boy. Oh, talking stage. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, dating the ice boy. I'll put this in Siyazama. So we'll move to Siyazama.
I have another Siyazama as well.
Siyazama, guys, is the part of the podcast where if you have a point of order, if you want to let us know anything, if you want to ask the 6 Foot Weights community a question, feel free to DM us on 6footweights@gmail.com or not, email us there, or DM us at 6footweights on Twitter. And for both handles, it's 6 the number FT weights, all lowercase. And you will be able to get in contact with us. So, there was a tweet where what was the tweet then?
So it was a tweet about realize. I think it was when women post like those red flag tweets. Apparently, I think she had said something about realizing that your man is the one who's not in charge.
Yeah,
he's not the boss. And I'm like, how? And guys.
Yeah.
Some 17 in Lapa where you have to be in charge. That was my immediate comment, right? And then I look in the comment section and someone mentioned Indawe about Ice Boy.
Yeah. Exactly. And I know for a lot of people, power is attractive, right? For a lot of hands, they are and even before we even get to that, if we're to be honest about guy dynamics, right? There's almost always a leader or one or two, right? Leaders, maybe even three in the group, right? Depending on how big the group is. There's always a guy who's making the decisions. Typically, ole mali type of thing, right? We'll make the big decisions. Where we booting, where we, this and that, right? Though they speak, niggas follow, right? That's generally what will happen. And then there's a term for this is typically the guy who might, in this scenario, maybe might not have as much money as everybody else, or maybe it's just the one who is very agreeable, the most agreeable, willing to do anything type of guy. And I guess maybe is it a derogatory term? I guess the non-PC term would be Ice Boy, right? So he's the guy that you would be like, hey yo, get me some, of which I think is real shitty. I wouldn't ask unless again you are heading to the cooler box. I'd be like, yo, Senna, can you bring me some ice, right? But there's no designated, this is the guy that I would call, right? So I've had guys, give me the cup and be like, yo, can go and find the ice. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll put some ice for you, right? So I've never really seen those dynamics in real life, but I know it exists because clearly it's a very real thing where there is the urn where I want to be humble them tuma and type of thing, and from that point of view, I think it would suck. if and you're I think high, and then you realize
that as guys, we don't realize or don't attach as much significance as we do to what introducing your girlfriend to your friends means in the greater scheme of how she views you. I think we always think, absolutely, I'm dating mang. So when you start dating, she thinks of you in a particular way, and then I think at times, Shema, as reading through the comments, and I spoke to a couple of girls who then told me, actually, Senna, that thing does change. Because you'll be in love with your person, Toluguti Sinkwa. I didn't know what that meant. And I'm like, no, like, you just see the vibe he gets from his friends, Uguti, I love him, or something like that, or they don't take him seriously. Then it's like, oh, okay, you can kind of see that whole in charge thing, but then I think as guys, we're not like as conscious of it as maybe an outsider coming into your circle.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, if we're used to it, right? If this is generally how things go, because there's always in the squad, there's that guy that, maybe gets roasted the most, or like, shit like that, where like shit just keeps happening to you. So like I have one of my friends where the running joke is that this guy just has mnyama, right? Because like every single year, every New Year's, for I think it was a good like 3-4 years, chomlo something, right? Like whether they went to like to party over Christmas, the week of Christmas, or the week of New Year's, right? Kurapa. He would always like that big boot, right? Like the New Year's Eve Adam, everybody's out, all out and about. Some shit would always happen. It was either Bamjon phone or Bamjon wallet, or he pranked the car, something weird. And again, it was always him, So it was just kind of like the running joke is like, bro, you've just got mnyama, bro, because nothing would happen to anybody else, right? Everything else, everyone else, it's a normal night out. Something. It was always something, So like in that case, obviously niggas are gonna roast you the most because like shit is happening. But I know they are. I'm trying to think. I'm starting to remember now. SCPC. I won't name names, but there were certain owns that were, for lack of a better term, whipping boys. And then imagine.
For the roasting.
I mean, for roasting and even I went up like with certain owners that were just disrespected at CBC. Period. There were certain people nobody rated for whatever reason but like people just felt brave to disrespect you, right? And now you can imagine if that's your life at CBC, for example, and then soccer jam is happening, and then you bring your girlfriend to soccer jam, right? Or there's the rugby at CVC. You bring your girlfriend, and then now she sees all of these guys blatantly disrespecting you, right? Maybe it could be just mispronouncing your name on purpose, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think it would suck at the end of it, because you've seen him in a certain light, and he's presenting himself obviously without all the other, the boys, in a certain light. And then you're like, oh, okay, cool guy, right? And then he's like, right, I'm gonna put you in this environment, in my environment, and you see, bruh, on his bottom of the ladder. I think, it's tricky.
Him. I think if they start doing that, they're not his friends. Like, I think there should be a realization. Okay, there's his hand now. There's a certain kind of respect that I must give him, and that should work. I think your friends, if they're your friends proper, they should afford you that respect if they're in front of company that should value and respect you. Because if they don't, then means they're intentionally trying to show you up in front of your.
And it definitely does happen. I mean, I'd be curious if you're brave enough, add us, or you can DM us and we'll just, crop your handle and whatever, your picture.
Tell us a story.
Tell us
what happened when your boy introduced you to you and you found out
you were dating the ice boy. That would be, And did you stay with him? Did you stay with the guy?
Did you make it work?
Were you a what is it? Someone's bunny. Proverbs. Proverbs into Psalms. Hey, like it. Yeah. Were you a trooper? Were you that type of hun? And then so I'll do the first. You said there's another CSM that you have.
Yeah, I have one. So this came through my DMs from one of our listeners. So shout out to her. I'm not sure if she wants to be named, but big shout out to her. She's been following the podcast, and she always gives such great reviews of the things we have to say, when both constructive and it's always constructive criticism. So this was about. I'm not sure if you remember when we mentioned cuts in one of our episodes, of getting cuts at school. So she said she saw, I think, 2 videos of teachers who literally manhandled.
I saw one of them.
Kids. I think this is probably back home. You saw them too. I didn't actually. So it was 2 of them, where one, I think it was a teacher who assaulted a student, literally even turned to punching, I think. And if I remember correctly from what the DM said, it was, I think, for flirting or doing something with a girl, for one. It was silly stuff, bro, and apparently they're just being beaten up. And it's the use of violence, like at schools, and how it's become so normalized. Like, if you talk to anyone who went to a mission school, an all-boys mission school, that is, like, they will tell you stories about how you'd fuck up something and then a teacher would punch you. And even us, like, bro, I once got 6 cuts for swearing.
Why were you swearing?
But dude, it was like banter between me and this other guy. I think it was me and Sticks. It wasn't even like we were fighting. We were just, like, criticizing each other. Like, it was
you just reminded me or something. Yeah, well, there was a literal dude that we used to call Sticks at school. Imagine now you bring your hand and niggas are like, "Hey, Sticks." That's fucked up,
But in that scenario, we're literally just telling, whatever, and he'd say the same to me. Obviously, it went deeper than that. Like, there were other swear words which I will never ever repeat on this platform ever
was
again.
A bad boy.
But there was a lot of things. I was like 14. I was 13 going 14. I was still like Form 1, Form 2. Very young. And then some teacher heard us and then said, right, Bafana, come here. Samben gu Mr. Nyoni. So we get to Nyoni, and Nyoni is like, right, giving you guys 2 options. 1, I call your parents now and you repeat
what you said,
those words in front of them. Won't you gonna loco soon and whatever you were saying, you say it in front of your parents, or I beat you. Come on now. For me, in that moment, I was like, you know what? Let me take the beating, because if this goes home, I will never hear the end of it. One, emotionally, I
And
won't
you'll
be
still
okay.
get a beating at home.
I'll probably still get beaten at home. At least I know Okuti Nyoni beats me now.
Yeah,
It's
it's done.
like it's done.
We move.
It's finished. And then he gave me 6 of the best, and that was the first time I ever got 6 cuts.
Said as a bad, but I've never gotten 6 cuts. Never.
Oh, I got 6 cuts twice. First was in Form 2, the second was in
What is
Upper
the upper
6.
6 for?
Nah, I brought my phone to school. And then I think Montgomery, he came in to be deputy head for like a year after you'd gone. He was there, I think, deputy head when we were in Upper 6. He was meant to be the guy replacing Thompson. So he replaced Songo. So one of our teachers were playing music, and you know, like when you're Upper 6, you do whatever you want. It was a new phone, we're playing music in the class, and then teacher walked in and said, "You guys are being lazy. He's at a cell phone, take the phone." He takes the phone, he goes to the headmaster's office, and then they confiscate the phone, and he says, "You know the rules." And then he gave me 6.
Who gave you 6?
I think
Montgomery?
he was just angry.
He was just trying to flex.
I think he was just angry. Dude, you can't confiscate my phone and then give me 6.
Six is the magic number for like smoking weed, you know, doing some wild shit.
Drinking. Dude, I got 6 cuts for basic things. I'm still like, I feel like I need to appeal
Were
those
they with whom?
decisions. Because whenever no, it's not like I got 6 from home.
Okay, so they went more by levels.
Nah, also I think Nyoni at the time I was
Yeah.
young, right? I was like 13 going to 14. I was still pretty small, so I think he probably went easier than he would on an Upper 6. Montgomery, those hurt because I felt like they came from a very dark place. I think I was just in a bad mood that day, bro, for some reason. So I took my 6 and I went. So anyways, back to the DM. This lady is asking, you know, the use of violence. Like, why is it so normalized? Why are we so comfortable with it? Bearing in mind, of course, that some schools outlawed the lashings and beatings, I think, a few years ago, around 2014. But she's just concerned that why are we raising our kids in this way? Like, first of all, do you think that cuts are necessary, and will you beat your kids?
I think cuts, yes. I think corporal punishment in school with certain controls, I'm okay with. So the way that it would happen for us normally at CBC, I felt like, it's cool, it's whatever, right? But in terms of, you know, again, there has to be levels, right? So that people understand that, okay, as a kid, as you're maturing, you understand, okay, cool, if I do this behavior, it's going to earn me this, and then, you know, understand, okay, cool. So for most of us, you know, we didn't do things because we're like, okay, cool, I know, it's not worth the cuts. You know what I mean? Like, so generally speaking, they
acted as
it was a good deterrent, but I mean, obviously we got cuts for stupid shit, right? Like stupid things where it's like, okay, for that, no, niggas should not be getting cuts, right? But there's certain things that people didn't do because it's okay, I don't want cuts, and that makes sense. So I think that's fine with the right controls.
Mwamba gave me cuts for being late for detention. I was late for detention.
Yes, why were you late for detention? Punctuality, Mr.
Bro.
Boy. Punctuality, please. So in that case, I think it's fine. But in terms of beating up kids as a parent, I'm not on that bandwagon. Again, also with the right type of control, I think they should be. I would use it as a threat, but I don't think I would do it. I don't think I'd be comfortable doing it because I think also, again, if it were to be done, it would probably be like once, just, you know, as okay, it actually did happen. Because obviously after a while, it's like, bro, you keep saying that was Jaya, but, you know, just one.
Would you be cool?
One for president to be like, nah, it can happen. But then also, you know.
So would you be cool with your child being beaten at school?
Yeah, like I said, if it was in a system where it is controlled and it's just kind of like, okay, it makes sense why this ended up happening, right? Man went and, you know, my kid swore at a teacher type of shit, right? Then hey, bro, you shouldn't be cussing out your teachers, right? So in certain contexts, I'd be fine with that. But again, in like what we had in CBC, you're not being beaten up; it's cuts. So it's like, okay, yeah.
Cuts,
So it
yeah.
was controlled.
And it was only a select few teachers who could do it, so it wasn't everyone.
So
Certain
if
teachers
some
were
random
allowed
teacher
to, others weren't.
try to slap up my kid, no, I'm coming to the school and that teacher's catching hands, right? But if it's kind of like what we had, where it's like, no, it's the deputy headmaster, the headmaster, and the sports master. Those are the only three authorized to do that. Then okay.
Yeah.
So there had to have been some form of conversation. A teacher had to have sent the child,
Yeah.
so like those type of controls. Yeah, I'm kind of okay.
The counter argument, however, would be that it can damage a young person if they're exposed, to that sort of thing. It could make them fearful, anxious, traumatized.
Trauma?
No, because it is the use of violence. Yeah, it is the use of
CBC
violence.
has trauma right now.
Maybe back on, we
Nah,
just don't
willa.
know. Maybe there's people who carry that bitterness.
Yeah, they
like,
can be
forward.
bitterness,
'Cause
but
I remember,
they it's not trauma. I don't think I have any trauma from being jacked.
because I remember when my parents told me I'll be moving from Milton to Whitestone, right? I was totally against it. I didn't want it. Like I cried. I said, no, my friends are here. I want to move. I'm happy where I am. Also, you're sending me to the school full of these white kids. I don't know anyone. Also, it's thing. Milton was all boys. Also, now you're telling me I'm going to learn with girls. And then the selling point, they sent my sister to come at me with the selling point. To like, no, but at Whitestone you won't get beaten by the teachers. And I remember that was a big, okay, I'm listening. Like for a 9-year-old, that's like, okay, tell me more. And that was only because I do remember that there was a specific teacher at Milton where if you didn't do anything proper, you're being beaten. So shy. And at Milton, every teacher could beat you up.
They had the power.
There wasn't the send you to the headmaster. No, every teacher had the power. So I remember there was always that stress on what did I get the answer correct? Did I do that right? And that's stressful
not right.
when
That's
you're a
not
child.
Right. I think that breeds proper anxiety.
Yeah, so that was the selling point that eventually got me to change schools. Although they were probably going to force me anyways.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Let me do real quick the last one. This one is pretty straightforward. This individual says, "Hello, Bafana the boys. Hello, hi. A question for Siyazama for the next episode. So, if your other half were to go to jail, would you wait for them? It's impossible, right?
No.
It's kind of similar to that thing you spoke about a while ago about switching off life support. I
guess depends on how long they're going for. I mean, if they're going for 3 months, we can wait. I think you can do 3 months. But I mean, if they're going for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, what do you expect? It can't be.
Yeah, honestly, I am. I think. What's your cutoff point?
I think a year.
Me too.
I think 1 year. Once you're going for more than a year.
So if she's gone for 2 years,
free me.
We're at 10.
I just expect to go to somewhere along the line.
Just once.
Just once. No, but it will probably be the end of the relationship, wouldn't it? 2 years.
Okay, 2 years plus you get conjugal visits.
Dude, no, you need more than that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
You get a conjugal, then
one and a half.
Then you
1
go
and
home.
a half years.
Yeah, maybe 1.5 with conjugals. But then you get your conjugal, then you go home and you chill by yourself. You're lonely half the time.
Cuddles.
Then you wait for the next conjugal.
It's not like you can do it every day. You can have visits every day. Yeah, no. I think for me, I think one year. I think once you cross the 1 year threshold, you're asking for too much.
You're really asking for a lot. Bruh, 27 years. My boy, Nelson Mandela, Tata M. Big up to Nelly M, bruh.
Nelly M.
27 years in prison. Nelly M found out his wife was cheating. He's like, no. Can't accept that. And he dumped her. Divorced her.
Or was she actually cheating?
I'm playing. They divorced for other reasons. And they divorced. No, she was. Winnie. Well, he was away. No,
she gave away the cheeks.
But that's probably not how 27 years.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
No, but you know what? The reason it's shitty.
I don't even try to vilify Winnie.
The reason it's shitty is because he was fighting for the freedom of the people. That's where it's shitty. You know, so you can't even be a freedom fighter and expect your hand to be loyal. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, again, in general, 27 is a span. Especially, I think no man can expect a woman to wait for him if it's for criminal behavior. But I'm trying to save the nation. You know? Like,
27
but
years.
I'm saving the nation.
So then he came out of prison and newspapers, I think, got a hold of, I think she had an affair with Dan Bofu. So newspapers got a hold of the transcripts, telephone messages, all these things, letters, and they published them. I think that upset Mandela as well, but I think he wanted to divorce her for political differences already.
What a difficult. But yeah, guys,
What
1
a
year.
difficult.
1 year, that's it.
Add us if you'll wait. You want to see
honestly.
something. Actually, ask your partner now. Just be like, hey, babe, so if I went to jail for a year.
1 year is a span.
What's going to happen?
1 year is a span. Like, I'd agree to reevaluate when you're out of prison. Hit me up. Let's have some tea. Let's, have a state of the union. Let's see if we still love each other. I'll ditch my other ad. Yeah, but anyway, Mr. Moyo, we've gone way over time. But yeah, it's what happens. It is what it is. This should help. Keep you guys occupied, entertained for the whole week. As
all the things.
Sorry, Lindo. Apologize, but yeah, we did it for the people. Anyway, like the thing, subscribe to the thing, retweet the thing. I mixed them up, but if you don't do those things, we're inclined to believe you're a hater.
Laters.